The Shiunji Family Children, adapted from Reiji Miyajima's manga and animated by Doga Kobo, is a romantic comedy streaming on Crunchyroll since April 8, 2025. Set in Tokyo's affluent Seiho neighborhood, the series follows Arata Shiunji and his 5 sisters and younger brother, whose lives unravel when their father reveals they are not biologically related, sparking complex romantic tensions. Episode 5, Perhaps, aired on May 6, 2025, and centers on Seiha's exploration of her feelings for Arata and Kotono's bold confession, escalating the family's emotional stakes. I'm both charmed and unsettled by the episode's playful yet provocative dynamics, but its reliance on harem tropes raises questions about its narrative depth, inviting a critical dive into its execution. Episode 4 depicted Uka's confession to Arata, overheard by Minami, who shared her confusion in a sisters group chat, only for Kotono to glimpse the message before its deletion. Episode 5 shifts focus to Seiha, who, sensing her own curiosity after a charged moment with Arata, proposes a game of Twister to probe her emotions. Their playful interaction grows intimate, while Uka and Arata's gaming session teases lingering feelings. The sisters later discuss ideal confessions, prompting Kotono to declare her love for Arata and her intent to marry him, shocking the group. The episode ends with a silhouetted figure, possibly a new rival, hinting at future complications. This transition from subtle confessions to overt declarations amplifies the series' romantic chaos. Episode 5 advances the romantic arcade by foregrounding Seiha's introspection and Kotono's audacious confession, a turning point marked by Kotono's defiant "I'll marry Arata and I" that disrupts the siblings' delicate balance, a moment I found both bold and jarring. This escalates the harem dynamics, resolving Minami's episode for misunderstanding, while raising questions about how the sisters will navigate Kotono's war declaration. The episode fulfills its role by deepening the romantic entanglements central to the manga's premise, setting up a competitive arc. However, the pacing feels uneven, with Seiha's Twister scene lingering overly long before a rushed confession climax, a flaw I noticed in abrupt scene shifts. I think Kotono's boldness is a narrative catalyst, but I didn't like the vague rival tease which feels like a cliched harem ploy. Seiha, Kotono, Uka, and Arata are central, with minor roles for Minami and Banri. Seiha's tentative "is this what I feel?" during Twister reveals a newfound emotional curiosity, consistent with her intellectual demeanor in episode 3, marking growth as she grapples with desire, a facet I found compelling. Kotono's fierce "I love him" unveils a raw determination, building on her episode 2 shyness, a shift I appreciated for its audacity. Uka's playful "you're terrible at this game" masks her lingering affection, aligning with her episode 4 confession, while Arata's flustered "I don't get it" reinforces his passive role, a trait I found increasingly repetitive. Their actions fit prior portrayals, but Arata's lack of agency feels stagnant, a weakness I noted. I really appreciate Seiha's introspection, but I wish Arata showed more growth, as his passivity dulls the tension. The episode explores love, identity, and the boundaries of family. Kotono's confession and Seiha's Twister game probe love's complexity in a non-biological family, a theme conveyed through their bold actions, resonating with the series' taboo-tinged premise. Identity emerges as the sisters question their roles. Seiha's "am I just a sister?" and Uka's lingering glances reflect shifting self-perceptions. The family boundary theme is tested by Kotono's declaration, challenging sibling norms. The reliance on harem tropes risks cheapening these themes, a flaw I noticed in exaggerated reactions. I'm intrigued by the identity theme, but I personally don't understand why the sisters' discussion felt so generic, which could have deepened the family dynamic. The episode subtly reinforces the Shiunji mansion's opulent setting, with the game room's sleek consoles and Twister mat evoking a privileged lifestyle, building on episode 1's Tokyo elite vibe, a detail I found immersive. The sisters' group chat, a recurring motif, underscores their modern, interconnected dynamic, a concept I anticipate will drive future conflicts. However, I didn't like how the rival's silhouette lacked context, leaving the world's external stakes vague, a flaw that limits the narrative scope. The setting feels vividly luxurious, but clearer external elements would enrich the story's tension. The dialogue is lively but leans on cliches, with Seiha's "what's this feeling?" carrying introspective weight, and Kotono's "I won't back down" landing with fierce conviction, moments I found engaging. Uka's teasing "you're hopeless, Arata" feels rote, undermining her depth, a flaw I noticed in group scenes. The writing excels in Kotono's climactic confession but falters in predictable harem beats, like the Twister fanservice, which feels like manga filler, a weakness I found distracting. I think the confession's intensity shines, but I didn't like the reliance on overused tropes, which cheapen the emotional stakes. Doga Kobo's animation is vibrant, with Seiha and Arata's Twister scene, bodies playfully tangled, rendered with fluid charm, a sequence I found visually delightful, praised for its expressiveness online. The art style style, faithful to Miyajima's manga, pops and close-ups like Kotono's determined glare, though some background shots in the mansion feel static, a dip I noticed, echoing critiques of minor frame simplicity. Perhaps evokes amusement, tension, and mild discomfort. Kotono's confession, a fiery stand against her sisters, is thrilling, a moment I found unforgettable, while Seiha's Twister game sparks playful warmth, tying to the series' rom-com core. The fan service and harem clichés stir unease, a flaw I felt keenly, given the sibling dynamic. The episode prompts reflection on love's boundaries in unconventional families, and its chaotic climax lingers. I also anticipate the rival will complicate the sisters' pursuits. The humor entertains, but the taboo undertones unsettle. The episode's core philosophical lesson is that love challenges societal norms. Kotono's declaration and Seiha's curiosity suggest that authentic feelings, even in fraught contexts, demand acknowledgement, a lesson embodied in the sisters' bold actions. This insight invites viewers to consider how love reshapes familial and personal identities, a profound reflection for navigating unconventional relationships. Episode 5 of the Shiunji Family Children is a lively, provocative chapter that excels in Kotono's confession, Ichino's performance, and the love theme, weaving a rom-com with bold stakes. Its strengths lie in the vibrant animation, Seiha's introspection, and the mansion's charm, bolstered by Doga Kobo's playful craft. However, uneven pacing, harem clichés, and Arata's passivity hinder depth, flaws I found limiting. I didn't like the fan service angles, and I think tighter writing could balance humor with nuance. The episode achieves its goal of escalating romantic tension, but stumbles with trope-heavy execution, making it a fun, flawed milestone. I'm cautiously optimistic for the series, expecting the rival and sisters' rivalries to sharpen its emotional and comedic stakes. For rom-com and harem fans, this is a cheeky, uneasy ride.